It's easy to write off high school kids as, well, kids. Immature, disengaged, self-absorbed. It's harder to see them as thought leaders or community advocates. What would you expect from high school kids asked to make a 3-minute video about rape victims? Whatever you're thinking right now, it's probably wrong. Welcome to BexarCast. I'm Randy Langford, and this is BexarCast, a weekly interview with business, political, educational, and nonprofit leaders. We're examining the relationships between all four and how each one benefits from the success of the other three. Janeshka Almaguer has been an advocate for women since she was a teenager in Del Rio, Texas. After earning an undergraduate degree in psychology and communication from Incarnate Word, she got her master's in education at Sul Ross. She advocated for and eventually created a female military sexual trauma unit serving active duty members nationwide known as the Yellow Rose at San Antonio Behavioral Healthcare Hospital. Today, she's the Director of Education for the Rape Crisis Center in San Antonio. Janeshka, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you making some time to talk to me today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I am not familiar with the Rape Crisis Center. Tell me about it. Is it unique to San Antonio, or how did it come to be?
So absolutely. So RCC started in 1975 there was a need in the community to help victims of sexual assault. So it started with survivors, community members, and volunteers. Since then, it's really expanded with many services and programs that we provide for the community. We have our hotline,
Right.
we have our mental health department, our education department, and we continue to meet a lot of the needs in the community around sexual violence.
I see. Very good. Very good.
So I do want to say,
Go
that
ahead.
it is unique in a way too. We recently have a new program called the Monarch Program, which
Called
is
the
an
what?
aftercare. The Monarch Program.
Monarch, like the butterfly.
Yes, exactly. And what it is, it's an aftercare clinic for victims of and survivors of sexual violence, and we're the only RCC that offers that program.
Wow. Wow. So San Antonio, good for us. So we're leading. That's great.
Absolutely.
How prevalent is sexual violence in San Antonio? I know you handled the more than 15,000 hotline calls in 2018. That sounds like a big number to me.
Absolutely. So what's really unique about our crisis hotline is it's also used as an informational resource for the community.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes maybe, they're needing services and they just come across our hotline. So they'll call it, and if it's a service we can't provide, we'll definitely link them to another service in the community.
Sure.
So that's what's really unique about our hotline as well. We always promote it also as a resource line for community members. But you're right, sexual violence is a public health epidemic in the community. I believe, San Antonio is definitely bringing more awareness about how we can end sexual violence or just violence towards individuals. And we're just doing the best that we can in our community. Sure. With the resources that are provided.
Absolutely. What's the biggest challenge for the RCC? What do you wish you could do?
Oh, wow. So there's many challenges. It just really depends on the department.
Yeah, right. Which way are you facing today, right?
Yeah, and the program, definitely. But I will say that, I want to speak in behalf of survivors, and the biggest challenges that they face is really to start by believing them and believing their story, because it takes a lot of courage to come forward with just disclosing that they've been sexually assaulted. And we want to continue to educate the community to believe survivors. Sexual violence is the most underreported crime. And so it's important that we start believing survivors.
Right, absolutely. It seems uncomfortable to switch gears so quickly, but I want to ask you about your experience at BexarFest. This was the first year the RCC has been involved in the festival. Tell me, what was your experience? Was it worth your time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just thank you so much for, allowing us to be part of this opportunity. It was a great experience. It was actually one of, uh, we wanted a PSA. We wanted to kind of link with somebody to create something very creative for us. So it was just
Sure.
a great opportunity. Sometimes, like you said, what are some of the resources that RCC has? And you've definitely been able to meet one of those needs.
That's great. That's
It was
that's
a great
that's
opportunity.
half that's half our mission, is to give the nonprofit organizations in San Antonio the resources they need to spread their mission and raise the funds they need and recruit the volunteers they need and do all of that mission advancement work. The other half of that equation, the other half of our mission, is to give students an introduction to the nonprofit world and let them know that you can work here. There are jobs out here.
Yeah,
It's funny. My experience is that teenagers are of the impression that everybody who works in a nonprofit is a volunteer.
absolutely.
There are no paying jobs. That's why it's called nonprofit. And we want to dispel that myth. We want to let kids know that, yeah, you can be compassionate and pay the bills.
Absolutely. Yeah. And my experience with the kids was, with the students, was it was a great experience for me, and I think for them as well. We definitely got to show them different career paths that you can take with RCC, and just the mission to help survivors. I think it also teaches youth about the importance of social responsibility.
Sure.
And just how, just that they're important to carry on the vision of ending sexual violence. So I think it's important that we continue to engage the youth in all missions of nonprofits.
Well, when you say if you could change anything today, it would be believe her.
Yes, but
Convince people
believe
to
them.
believe the victims. That would seem that your target for that objective would be the youth.
Absolutely.
Explain it to teenagers when they're 15 that this is a real thing, and we need to believe these victims and understand what they're going through. It seems like you'd want to start that message early.
Absolutely, and I believe that's why the youth selected the bystander intervention.
Right.
So it's a great tool for prevention, and really just holding each other accountable at an early age, instead of having to realize and really challenge your social norms when you're in a different life cycle.
Yeah, and the connections between teenagers and their friends or their circle is massively influential.
Absolutely.
And to have teenagers telling this story that you can do something about this, you don't have to just stand by and watch it happen, that's going to influence other teenagers.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And so again, mission accomplished. Well done. And NISA, the kids from Northeast School of the Arts, did such a good job of telling your story. That's why they won Most Creative. That they took a heavy subject and an uncomfortable conversation and told it very well.
Absolutely, they really did. They even came to take a tour of the facility.
Good.
So they really were really invested in really knowing the pulse of RCC and what the needs were, and we're just really proud of the work that they did. And because it was heavy conversations, and at first we weren't really sure, but I'm just really proud of them.
And as well you should be, and they should be too. They should be as well. I've had teachers tell me that when the students find out they're going to be in Bearfest, or we're going to make a video for a nonprofit organization, oh, this will be fun. This is exciting. It's something out of the ordinary. We get to go off campus and do this project. And it's kind of lighthearted and sort of playtime. And then when they actually meet their nonprofit partner, it suddenly gets very serious. This is not as funny as we thought it was. This is not playtime. This is for real. These are real people with real issues and real needs and real objectives that are really counting on us to tell their story. And it's comforting to me. It's encouraging to me that the kids do take it seriously, and they accept the responsibility. They almost relish it. Gimme. Let me tell this story. The expectations are that kids will be silly and shy and uncomfortable and tell a juvenile story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not so much. The
Yeah,
kids
absolutely.
step up, and that's always good news to me. And you would think after all these years I've been doing this is our 4th year, you would think I would have figured it out that they're going to surprise you.
Absolutely.
Every year they blow me away.
Yeah, they were very open to learning the subject matter, and they wanted articles, they wanted videos. We gave them a 45-minute presentation on Sexual Violence 101 and
Wow.
primary prevention. They were very interested in the work that we did, and very professional. We responded a lot through email as well. And they were just really great. We always checked in on them to make sure they were, with self-care because of the content and the subject matters. It's like you said, it's very heavy. And so we also wanted to make sure that they were okay as they were, creating this video for us.
Right. How did the process go? Did they pitch you their idea and it was a back and forth conversation, or did they just, here's what it's going to be?
It was definitely, they did pitch a couple of ways they wanted to go with this.
Right.
And they wanted something very different. And I believe that's why they won Most Creative.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't want to give just like an informational story about RCC, like the stories that we give.
Right.
The services that we provide. So they really wanted something really different, and they delivered, and so I believe, because there's so many ways it could have gone with, because we do so many things here, so they just decided they wanted to do something out of the box and more creative, and
right.
And so I'm really proud that they went that way.
Yeah. The 2-minute performance, I guess, is what you would call it, of the party scene where the girl steps in and says, "What's going on here?" and the situation resolves itself was interesting. A good way to tell that story, that you don't have to be in somebody's face, you don't have to be objectionable. You can just break the chain and stop that conversation. And then the kids addressing the camera afterwards in the second half of the PSA, where they just wore their hearts on their sleeves and said, this can't happen, this can't be, and you can stop it. That was great. That was very moving.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very proud that they really touched on a lot of the subjects that lead to sexual violence, and I was just really impressed with what the work that they did, and just really proud that they were able to tackle this. And with this PSA, I feel that it's going to be in spaces that we can't be in all the time.
Sure.
And just really bring awareness to like the online community,
Right.
Just communities that we can't reach. And
Yeah.
And this is why it's really important that we use platforms like this to bring about awareness and educate the community.
Well, it educates the community, absolutely, but it gave those kids, the team from NISA, got an education not only in media production, but just in the business world. This was a real world job experience, work experience for them. And whether they end up going into the media or not, they have developed skills now and practice skills, communications, resource allocation, time management. That applies to any career.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think also it gives the youth just that they also have a voice, and that they
Right.
can also be a part of something impactful in the community. And there's just so many positive skill sets that a youth can learn from, being a part of this project. So I'm really glad that they said yes. And I just think it's amazing work.
Thank you. And the kids, they like I say, they blow me away every year. That's why we have the premiere in the Tobin. We could have it anywhere, but we want to have it in the crown jewel of the San Antonio arts scene to send that message to the kids. What you're doing is important, and it is valuable, and we appreciate it, and we want to give you the opportunity to celebrate that on a significant scale. So yeah, we
Absolutely.
always have the premiere in the Tobin, and the kids walk in and kind of rock back on their heels and are a little overwhelmed by the grandeur of it all. But it's the big stage. Good job.
No,
You deserve it.
it's great.
And this is the first time a lot of these kids deal with an adult or more than one adult, a team of adults on a peer-to-peer level. It's always been parent-child, student-teacher. And so this is the first time now it's client vendor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get the message from teachers a lot that they see their kids again, not only embrace the subject and embrace the process, but embrace that role as being, I'm taken seriously. I'm an adult. I have something of value to say, and I'm gonna earn that. Did you see any change in the kids from day one to day 21?
I did see a change that they were at first, because there was a lot of silence, and I'm not sure if it was because of the content
Right.
that we were delivering, but they were, which I think is an important skill set, they communicated very well with us through this process, that they were really wanted to make sure that as a customer, that we were happy with the product that they were producing. And so yes, I did see a change as far as asking more questions about the content.
Okay, good. And I hear it from a lot of the nonprofits, almost all of the nonprofits, when we do the debriefing, like what you and I are doing here. After it's all over with, they are surprised, not only by the behavior of the kids and the product the kids are able to produce, but the nonprofits that haven't participated in the festival before, they understand it on an intellectual level. We're going to be working with high school kids to create a suite of media products, but I don't think they realize how passionate the kids are going to be and how over the top their work is. And parents are the same way. They show up at the premiere at the Tobin and say, "I got to go to this thing for my kid." They made some high school video, and it's going to be of high school. It's going to be of that quality. And it's funny to watch the parents walk out of the Tobin with a whole new appreciation of their own children. Oh my gosh, I didn't know my kids were so talented.
Yes.
What was your perception going in, and how did that change?
Well, I was nervous, to be honest with you. I was nervous, but excited at the same time. I suppose I was nervous because of the content that we talk about. I was nervous if maybe, making sure that we're putting out the right message out in the community because of the impact technology can have. And, but, and I feel that they definitely did the work that we were wanting, and definitely a product that I would pay for. So yeah, we were just very impressed and very excited. I know Brittany also helped out. She was crying, and so she was just really overwhelmed. She was really overwhelmed with, because we got to see it through different stages. So,
okay. Yeah, the production through. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we just didn't know how it was going to turn out, and but we were very pleased with it.
Good. Yeah, there's the kids are, the technology is nothing. We got this. We absolutely know how to work the technology. What I see change in the students is their understanding of their place in the world.
Absolutely.
That it's okay to be creative and be assertive and have your opinions and speak up and go back and forth and have an adult conversation. You will be taken seriously. You're not here to just do what we tell you to do. We're expecting you to contribute to that. And that's encouraging, to give the kids that self-confidence, but also to give them the experience of being treated like an adult.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that. And, once again, I'll just say that the youth, it was a positive experience for us to work with them. I felt that it definitely builds self-confidence. Being involved in projects like this, I believe that it empowers youth to know that they have a voice, and that they can be taken serious. And I believe they definitely proved themselves throughout this project.
Well, and it comes back again to the subject matter that you're dealing with. Am I going to be taken seriously? Am I going to be taken am I going to be believed?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you are. You're gonna be taken seriously, and you're gonna be rewarded for doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
Janeshka, thank you so much. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I appreciate you giving me some feedback on how the kids performed, and I appreciate you giving them the opportunity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.